It's the mid-90s in Japan. Anime manga are booming and the biggest story of the century is going full throttle. This story is Dragon Ball and it's now entering its final stretch, the Buu Saga, which is considered now as the most controversial Dragon Ball Z saga. And as all controversial topics go, the saga itself has been the forefront of discussion for a long time. But what I will target today is Goku's greatest character assassination. It is quite a big accusation to name it as character assassination.
So, did Goku have a perfect character before the Buu Saga?
To be frank, no, Goku was never a perfect character and his imperfections are on full display during sagas such as the Namek Saga and the Cell Saga. What was built up before the Buu Saga, his hope in the future generation, and his maturing nature is destroyed during it, and that same energy turns into something it wasn't intended to be: cynical. So before we talk about what exactly destroyed Goku, it's important we know what made it happen: the cynical outlook.
But what is a cynical outlook?
During the creation and serialization of Dragon Ball, Toriyama began to develop a cynical outlook on the series as a whole. A cynical outlook covers the idea of believing that people are motivated purely by self-interest, distrustful of human sincerity or integrity. In regards to Dragon Ball, this idea falls on the protagonist, Goku.
Did Toriyama always have this outlook?
I'm not going to claim what Akira Toriyama really felt internally, but what we can talk about safely is the environment the work came out of and how the environment pushed Dragon Ball. Because Dragon Ball wasn't created in a flexible environment, it ran inside a weekly magazine system that's famously competitive and deadline driven, and that brings us to editors and pressure. Weekly Shonen Jump is a weekly anthology, meaning the schedule doesn't wait for its creators. It arrives every week whether the chapter is ready or not. This historically puts a lot of pressure on mangaka and their editors release these chapters on schedule. Editors aren't just error checkers. In manga production, editors can function like story managers, shaping, pacing, and structuring stories to be market fit. But Dragon Ball specifically, Tomiyama's relationship with editors specifically has been widely discussed because of its impact on how the series was guided and shaped during its run. For example, the Cell Saga. People who worked in the environment describe it as tight, deadline, compressed production work. But Dragon Ball specifically, Tomiyama's relationship with editors specifically has been widely discussed because of its impact on how the series was guided and shaped. So, here's the key idea. When your story must ship every week, the quality of some chapters may vary. It can reward shock over the setup, it can reward escalation over resolution, and it can make you burn out quickly, seen with Gege Akatami behind Jujutsu Kaisen. But where does the Buu arc fit into this? The Dragon Ball manga ran as weekly chapters in Weekly Shonen Jump from 1984 to May 23, 1995, and the final stretch of Dragon Ball, Final Battle against Majin Buu, is documented as spanning Weekly Shonen Jump 1994 number 14 to 1995 number 25. Meanwhile, the Dragon Ball Z anime's Buu material runs from 1994 to 1996 in Japan, concluding on January 31st, 1996. So when we talk about Buu decisions, we're talking about the final run of the weekly juggernaut near the end of its original serialization window after a decade of consistent work. Now to Goku. To me, Goku is defined by a few consistent character traits across the manga. He seeks his own growth and strength, he trusts potential, sometimes too much, and he's a light in tone character for the majority of the story, but he's serious when he could need to be during the end of it. And crucially, the story usually frames these traits as dangerous, but ultimately life-giving. His optimism is framed as contagious, and it creates successes, and it has also created second chances in the past. Think Piccolo and Vegeta.
But hasn't Goku wanted to pass the torch since the Cell Saga?
Yes, the major reason for this being that Goku believed that threats come to Earth because of him, which is why it stayed in the other world. But Buu itself affirms to Goku that these threats will come regardless of whether or not Goku is present. This means that he knew more than he said, he could do more than he did, and he lied or was intentionally misleading on multiple occasions. And he undermines the majority of the cast with his actions, being a large reason as to why the Earth gets blown up. To understand why the Buu Saga fails for me, you don't need to isolate one bad decision. You need to look at Goku's behavior across the entire arc, because his issue lies in contradiction and his lies. When we first rejoin Goku, his goal is simple: stop Majin Buu from being released at all. There's no gamesmanship here, almost no detours. Buu isn't framed as a challenge, he's framed as a mistake that must not happen. This aligns perfectly with the direction Goku is headed post Cell Saga. Then comes a Vegeta fight. Goku explicitly commits to going all out, not holding back, not sparring, and not posturing. This is framed as necessary. Vegeta is unstable, the stakes are global, and the delay could mean the release of Buu. But here's where the first mistake takes shape. Because after the fight, after all the consequences, it's revealed that Goku was still holding something back. The reveal of Super Saiyan 3 recontextualized everything, especially Goku's honesty. The story tells us Goku could have ended the Vegeta fight faster, he chose not to, and this doesn't just undermine Vegeta but Goku too.
So what? Goku is lying?
Not technically lying, but definitely misleading, and out of character of how he's been acting so far in this arc, and that's new. I don't know if I can beat Buu. This is what Goku says to Piccolo when training Goten and Trunks. He openly admits he's not sure if he can defeat Buu. Goku has doubted himself before, but the problem is timing. The story stops between Goku being unsure, Goku holding back, and Goku secretly having more power than anyone else present. When Goku finally fights Fat Buu, it's the final nail in the coffin. He demonstrates overwhelming power, but he treats the battle like a demonstration, not the high stakes fight it is, and that leads directly into the line that breaks the arc. I could have beaten Buu, but I wanted to give the boys a chance. Now we're told Goku could have won, he chose not to. But this doesn't mean the Buu Saga and the arc itself is unwatchable and uncool. In fact, it actually has a plethora of cool moments. Super Saiyan 3, Goku and Babidi, Vegeta vs Goku 2, the Spirit Bomb, Vegito, and tons more of additions to the Dragon Ball story that have impacted all future things to come. This video isn't about hating on Dragon Ball, the Buu Saga, or Goku, but it's about recognizing the flaws of this beloved series and the roots it came from. Dragon Ball will forever be a cherished series, no matter how many flaws it has. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on Dragon Ball Z.